Look, Keefe says, who hasn't fallen out with Ten Hag? To reach the top, managers have to manage youth and stars alike. In this sense, seems like Erik Ten Hag has a ceiling already. Well, look, we are talking about another fallout, unbelievably, in relation to Varane and Ten Hag. And as somebody who supports Ten Hag, even I'm sat here now going, this is not good for him. As somebody that wants him to do well and as somebody who wants him to be a success, I think he's making a massive mistake. He's not playing the game. The media will love it. Those who want him out will love it. Arguing with players publicly in a season where you're not doing well, and let's be honest, if you were giving Erik Ten Hag a rating so far this season, if you're giving him a 6, well done, because I'm giving him a 4 and I support him. This is, he's not in a position of power. We've got a new owner coming in effectively to run the sporting side. He's on thin ice what he's doing, and he's falling out with players all over the place, in season as well. It really worries me. I want Ten Hag to stay. I want him to do well, but even I've got to sit here and say he's doing himself 0 favours. Of course, we're talking about this story about Varane, where apparently the relationship is broken to a point where people don't think it'll be fixed. He will have to leave in January. And look, it's not ideal to lose one of your best players in January. It wasn't ideal to lose Ronaldo in January last season or whenever we came back. It was December from the World Cup, wasn't it? So it's just not good. We'll get into it. Sean Turner said, I said this last night. It's a worry. I honestly don't think the manager can handle big personalities. No other manager would pick Evans over Varane. He's killing us with his decisions. Sean, I'm genuinely worried. I mean, I'm not worried to the extent of let's sack the manager. I think if I look back a month ago when people were saying sack Ten Hag, it wasn't because he'd fallen out with Varane. So you can jump on that now, and that can be your reason if you want it to be. But that wasn't the reason that people were against Ten Hag then. I think it was a bit premature. But look, let me give you the news. There's quite a lot to get involved with. It includes Casemiro as well. We'll also be talking a little bit about the future of John Murtagh, whose job is also under jeopardy. But a very interesting article. We've had Chris Wheeler on the show. In fact, Beth interviewed him last week. It was up on the show. So it's coming from Chris Wheeler and Sami Mukbel, who is another good journalist with the Mail. They're basically saying this. The relationship between Erik Ten Hag and Rafael Varane is practically broken. A frank exchange of views took place after Varane was dropped for the Manchester derby last month. Varane is unhappy that Johnny Evans was chosen ahead of him. And look, I don't know what your understanding of Rafael Varane is or his place in the game, but there are no incidents of Varane being a big-time Charlie or having an ego. In fact, quite the opposite. There's a fantastic documentary about Varane. I think it's still on Amazon Prime. And really humble, hard-working young man who got himself to Real Madrid and has won World Cups and has won Champions Leagues and really just isn't that type of player that, kicks up a fuss and causes problems in the dressing room. And yet here we have another fallout. We had a fallout with David De Gea, who again is not was not that type of personality. And for anybody who thinks that there wasn't a fallout with David De Gea, there was. He was treated like shit. I said it at the time. Look, I'll back the manager, but I love De Gea and I don't think he should have been treated like that by the club. And they did shit on him. But people didn't talk about it at the time because we had a new shiny toy, which was Onana, which I like Onana and I liked the signing. But let's never forget that David De Gea was treated like shit. It was another fallout. I don't even know if it was a fallout. He went on holiday and was told he was gone. I mean, it was cowardice, maybe. I don't know. But the treatment of big players at this club over the last 12 months is dubious at best. Casemiro is now being talked about leaving in January as well. And you look at it and you go, hold on a minute. There has to be a point where you look at this and you go, these are not troublemakers. Ronaldo set the bar too high. If that's a crime, then bloody hell, send him to prison. David De Gea was a legend of this club. He just won the Golden Glove and you shit on him. Varane doesn't have this reputation, was brilliant for his last year and you're dropping him for Johnny Evans and you're falling out with him. Casemiro, he's had a few bad games. So's Rashford, Bruno and everybody else. And he needs to be sold. The Sancho one, look, the tweet never helped Sancho, I've got to be honest. But there's 5 players there in 12 months that he's fallen out with. And you just go, they're the wrong players to fall out with. I can name 5 players you need to fucking fall out with. Like, we all know 5 players to fall out with and fuck off. But these are not the 5 players that we really should be falling out with and kicking out of the club. And it leads you to say what I said last night. Is this about football or is this about business? And to me, it's about business. It's about getting rid of anybody over 300 grand a week because we need to save money and save the football club from the debt and the fucking mess that the Glazers have inflicted on us. I don't think these are football decisions anymore. I think these are, let's piss these players off so they want to leave and then we can get rid of their wages. And that really frustrates me because I want Ten Hag to do well. I back Ten Hag. I think he has the managerial skills to do well at this football club. But if there is an overarching, let's get rid of players because of what they're earning, we ain't a football club, we're a bloody business. And I just think it's too coincidental. And I could be completely wrong on this. I'm not saying I'm right. I've got no evidence to say I'm right. I'm just frustrated about this situation. And I'll tell you the reasons why. Varane wasn't signed by Eric Ten Hag, doesn't fancy him, says Rory. Yet he picked him all last season and we finished third and we won we won the most clean sheets. Rory, basically, you make a good point. A few people have said to me that, you know, look at Maguire. He wasn't in the team last year and he's had to wait for his chance. The difference between Harry Maguire and Raphael Varane is the difference between night and day. Maguire was given a chance, blew it, and was out the team for the rest of the season, and Ten Hag wanted to sell him. Varane came into the team, was brilliant for his last season, and has proven himself not only for Ten Hag, but as an important player for Ten Hag. There's no comparison to that. I think the wages issue is a red herring. It's just the big personalities are on big wages, and it seems he can't deal with the big players. Or more likely, they are not buying into what he's trying to do, says Rory. Once again, you're falling for Player FC. People like you are why it exists at the club. Stop having favourites, says United. I don't have favourites, United. And you're a troublemaker, as everybody in this chat knows. You're very welcome to be a troublemaker, but everything you say is toxic, which some people say is hypocritical. I'm not being toxic. I back the manager. I do not want him to be sacked, and I want him to do well. But in life, you can care about somebody, and if you really care about them, you will speak out about their flaws and hope that they change their attitude. I'm worried about what Eric Ten Hag is doing for his own good. If I was Ten Hag out, this would be easy. I'd be like, he's gone. He's burning his bridges. He's gone. I don't want him to go, but I think he's making massive decisions. So I'm not going to be. I think he's making massive mistakes. So I'm not going to not call them out. I want him to stay. But my big issue is he's falling out with players in season. Sancho was at the start of the season. Ronaldo was at the start of the season last year. Varane is now in season. Casemiro is next in season. You know, he's losing that fucking dressing room. There will be people in that dressing room who like Varane, who like Sancho, who liked Ronaldo, who like Casemiro, who liked De Gea. He's losing. It's not just about falling out with Varane or Sancho. Is that team playing well? Is the camaraderie there? No, it's bloody well not. And maybe we need to open our eyes up and go, there probably are players in that dressing room who are losing faith in Ten Hag because of how he treated Sancho, how he treated, definitely De Gea. I told you this weeks ago. There are players in that dressing room who do not understand the De Gea decision. They liked him. He was well liked. He was well respected. He was playing well. And they see him replaced with a goalkeeper that's not ready for this league. So look, forget the Varane thing. It's the way we're doing it. Publicly, in season, falling out with players constantly. The media will be rubbing their hands at this. They'll be going, look at the Sancho situation, now Varane, De Gea in the summer, Ronaldo last year. Is this a ruthless manager clearing house? No, because there's still a load of shit here that won't get sold, so we can't go down that angle. Is this a manager who can't handle big egos? Maybe. Is this a manager who's a Glazer puppet getting rid of all the big wages? Maybe. Is this a manager out of his depth who can't handle this league? Maybe. And those maybes are what worry me. I want a manager that I look at and go, whew, this is aggressive and ruthless. I don't agree with it, but bloody hell, this is going to be interesting. I'm all for that. If that's your angle, United, I'm all for that. If this is a manager going, I don't give a shit, I know what I'm doing, I'm ruthless, I'm aggressive, I'm going to make this work, I'm going to clear house and bring everything in, I haven't got a problem with that. The problem with that is, get rid of Casemiro, get rid of Varane, get rid of Ronaldo, get rid of De Gea, get rid of Sancho. Ruthless stupidity, because let's buy Mount for 55 million quid. Makes no sense. Anthony for 80 million euros, not working in year 2 at the moment. Maguire and McTominay still here, but you wanted to sell them, and now they're part of your first team. De Gea replaced with Onana, who's struggling to settle in. He's not being ruthlessly aggressive, because some of his decisions are questionable, and this to me just looks like get rid of big wages.